Wow. Learning a lot of things about Steve, things I didn't even know. I think he's kind of schizophrenic because he's not that guy. And the reason why I say that is because I'm 3 years older than Steve. So he wasn't the leader of our group. I was. And I've never written a tribute before. I didn't know where to begin because I have so many memories of Steve. It's almost cliche to say, but it's true. I don't know where to start. So I thought, why not just share them? I only brought 6 pages. Could have been 10. Maybe in part, I'm just going to share these memories to give Mindy, Lauren, Crystal, and Alyssa just a little bit of history behind the man, the husband, the father, and the reason that I call Steve my best friend. I don't remember the day we met, but we were friends from the very beginning. We did everything together. He was the little brother I didn't have. He was my best friend. As I thought about our life together and all the things we did, the list seemed endless. Steve influenced my life in so many ways. The reason I dwell in the past and I'll hold on to all those memories is because of Steve. The reason I do so many of the things I do today is because of him. And here's the thing, Steve didn't need to say a lot to make an impact. He was always a man of few words, but things he did said everything. I cherish those summer days when we'd play Dungeons and Dragons in the Glendale Public Library. We'd walk to the Galleria, split a bag of fries, and head back to keep playing. We saved our quarters to play video games at Sneaky's Pizza, and if we had enough left, we'd split a slice. We stayed up late playing Atari. We swam all day at the hospital swimming pool, grabbed Funyuns and Sunkist from the liquor store, and crawled through a hole in the fence to play basketball at Glen Oaks Elementary when we were tired of swimming. And literally, he'd sometimes be my catcher. If I got frustrated on the mound, Steve would jog over, take off his mask, and say, "Glenn, did you read that new Spider-Man?" And just like that, I'd forget about balls and strikes. I'd start ranting about Spider-Man, and he'd just smile, nod, and hobble back behind the plate. He had this way of calming me down without ever saying much. That was Steve. I was the one who always got us into trouble. And yet, as we got older, our parents still let us hang out somehow. On Friday nights, we wore matching Nike windbreakers, snuck off to the YMCA dance to break dance, grabbed McDonald's cheeseburgers, then scrambled to call Uncle, Steve's dad, who was really scary, before midnight to ask if he could sleep over. We were supposed to be at Friday night vespers. We were naughty teenagers. We got once breaking into the Glendale Academy gym on a Sabbath afternoon just to break dance. Crying in the principal's office, our dads were so furious, and Steve's dad was pretty mad. But for some reason, they still didn't keep us apart. When I was 15 years old and my parents were out of town, Steve and I stole my mom's car and drove to the San Diego Comic-Con. He held the road map. I didn't even have a driver's license. I can hear all the older aunties and uncles asking their, what, did Glenn and Steve steal cars? No, we just kind of borrowed without permission. And there was this incident we just never really talked about. Let's just say yes, a police helicopter may have been involved. 1 30-second phone call later, we had a getaway plan, and just like that, The Great Escape was on. It would have made Hollywood jealous. If you want the full story, ask me in private. See, he was always there for me, and I was there for him. Even as we got older, I'd say, let's do this, and he'd do it, no questions, no long talks, no drama, no diesel, just, okay. During college, we tried to stay in touch as much as possible. I told him about the karate dojo I was training at, and he started meeting me there every Friday night to train. Eventually, he trained 3 times a week while I was away in college, and he earned a purple belt. I was so proud of him. After college, when I opened up my comic book store, I asked him if he could work on the weekends. He said, okay. In 2006, I said, let's run a half marathon. He said, okay. In 2007, I said, hey, let's run a full marathon. And he said, okay. That was Steve. Not a man of many words, but a man you could always count on. Looking back at our text messages, he'd send me a short question or comment. I'd reply with paragraphs. Next thing you know, his iMessage would say, Steve Danlag has notifications silenced. It was my clue to stop talking. When he was in the hospital in December 2016, I visited and said, we should play D&D again. He laughed and said, okay. He didn't think I was serious, to be honest, but I was. A few months later, we were meeting every Friday night to play. As a 50-year-old adult, hanging out with Steve and rolling dice, it was the highlight of my week. If you wanted to hear Steve actually talk, really talk, play D&D with him. He came up with the most outlandish, hilarious scenarios. Our group, mostly strangers, would erupt in laughter. And before I stepped in as dungeon master again, he whispered to me at the table and said, Glenn, once you learn the rules again, you'll be better than all those guys. That felt like the world when he said that to me. My daughter Isabella started playing with us too, and after one of our games on the drive home, she was laughing and said, I know why you like Uncle Steve so much. He's so funny. Yes, he really was. We played until COVID shut down the world. That was the last time we rolled dice together. I hold these memories close to my heart. If my memories fade one day, at least I've shared them with you now. Mindy, Lauren, Crystal, Melissa, your husband, your dad, was a great man. I know he was a wonderful husband and loving father because he had the kindest, most loyal heart. He loved you fiercely. Over the years, I'd send him random things, a cool wallet, a book, a chess set from Barbados, a knife, just little reminders that I was thinking about him. He never really sent me anything back, and I never expected him to. But on his birthday, this year, I got a package from him. It was a Bible in comic book form. I was so excited to receive something from him. But then it made me really sad, as if he was trying to tell me something. That day, he posted a verse from the Bible on Facebook. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Romans 12:12. That's Steve. Joyful, patient, quiet, but full of faith. I texted Steve on May 1, just 10 days before he passed away. I had written something and wanted his feedback. I asked him if he'd give it a read and let me know what he thought. He usually replied, short messages, few words, but he always replied. This time he didn't. On May 8, I was able to spend 30 quiet minutes alone with him in the hospital room. I didn't know he'd been intubated. I thought we'd talk. I thought we'd go over what I wrote. I thought he'd crack a joke and offer his advice. But once again, I did all the talking. And I was so grateful for that time. I said my goodbyes. I told him I loved him. And even in silence, I know he heard me. Now I want to come back to something. In 2008, 27 years ago, I finally understood why, it's 17 years ago, I finally understood why Steve always said yes to me, why he was the most loyal friend, the most loving dad, and the most devoted husband. We were in Santa Barbara, celebrating Donna's and my 10-year wedding anniversary. Towards the end of the night, everyone was laughing at Steve's table, everyone. So I sat next to him. I wanted in on the fun. There's a picture of us on that night, his arms around me, joy in the air. We were laughing. It's one of my favorite pictures of us. Under that beautiful starry Santa Barbara sky, after a day of laughter and love, Steve leaned in and said, Glenn, man, I love you so much, man. You know that, right? You need to know that. I said, I love you too, man. And then he said, I want you to know I will always, always, always have your back. That's the thing about a man of few words. When he speaks, it matters. That's a best friend. That's the kind of person you grow up with, collect comic books with, play paintball with, play golf with, steal cars with, roll dice with, shoot guns with, play chess with, get in trouble with, fight next to, run 26 miles next to. and laughed with for 50 plus years. Steve was my BFF, my best friend forever. Steve, I love you, man. I can't wait to be together again and roll that dice. And I'll always, always, always have your back. Rest in peace, bud. I miss you.
I think of you all the time. Now that you're gone, I've been doing all kinds of drugs to get you out of my